Hey all, Sir Penguin here, and we are looking at team games. We're looking at a 2v2 on Gorge, and in Team 1, in teal, starting in front on Jeanne d'Arc, we have Big Man Jean. Behind him, in the pink, playing as England, is Anglo-Saxon 1941. We'll call him Anglo-Saxon this game. On the top side, in the green, in the back, we have Striker. Striker is going to be playing the Roos. And in front of him, looking to be that front Gorge player, we have MRX, otherwise known as TheMista. Mista is going to go straight for the gold, so we'll probably see that Japan fast castle, I want to say. Some towers going up on the front for defense. Going into the farmhouse to get that early food. Across from him, on the front, we've got the Jeanne d'Arc player playing a standard Jeanne d'Arc. 2 players on gold, 2 villagers on gold. Gonna go into that school of cavalry, no doubt. As soon as the eco comes in, does that food and gold come in? Behind him, England gonna be able to play a little greedier. We have those opening 2 farms on the TC. Gonna get a nice, easy source of food there. Then when the mill comes up, even stronger. Moving into the mid game. The Roos doing some standard Roos shenanigans. We're gonna see the hunting over here on the backside. Got a couple scouts coming out for Striker. Gonna look for more hunts. Maybe he misses this one. No, he gets that one up there. Japan and Roos versus England and Jeanne d'Arc. I'm curious to see how this goes. I think Japan's gonna want that castle age, gonna want tech early. Maybe those mounted samurai going into the French Knights of Jeanne d'Arc. Jeanne d'Arc being on the front is good for Big Man John here. Gonna be able to hold, gonna be able to put some pressure onto Japan early. But with Japan's towers, with Japan's defenses, I assume we'll see a fairly fast castle coming out of this player. Although, this is a little different. A forge coming up on the stone next to the Kremlin, which is gonna cover gold and stone. Kura storehouse, gonna get that food set up. And with the Roos, playing standard Roos here, we might have a fairly fast castle on the backside. 2 or 3 TCs. Lots of tech coming out for that Roos player. All that fun Roos stuff. And it's nice with him on the back. They'll be able to just sort of boom, get the buffs going with Japan's nice early defense. Kremlin defending a good chunk of the base, defending those minerals. It'll be quite easy to get that castle age there. We've got the School of Cavalry coming up. Joan is going to continue gathering. We've got a little fight for the deer here. Pink Anglo-Saxon trying to cut off some of Striker's deer. Gives a little hello to him with that smack. Gotta love the little scout smack after the fight for the deer. Scout taking damage from that Kremlin. Scouts the Kremlin. Scouts the storehouse. Looking into a tower here from Jean. We have that villager. Jean coming to build the tower. Very interesting. That's going to be to shut down that Kura storehouse. Let's see what happens here. As Jean moves in, TC just pumping out vills. We do have villagers on the stone. This looks like not enough for a second TC, but perhaps for that Daimyo Manor. Just moves a little bit out of range of the TC. The tower's still being hit, but resisting that arrow damage. Jean gonna use this XP to level up, it looks like. Big Man John dropping a tower onto Japan early, maybe to slow down that fast castle. Some scouting on the back. Storehouse comes up. Tower, is it gonna come up? Japanese villagers coming out to burn it. Jean gives up on it, gonna pull back. Is this gonna happen? Still hanging out. Trying to drop it again. This is the 3rd attempt at dropping this tower. Scout trying to burn it down. More Vills just kind of hanging out. Are we going to see another Vill pull to try to shut that down? No Vill pull yet. Maybe the Gremlins? No Gremlins either. More Vills coming to burn it. Joan gonna give it a try here, using this to level up. I see. So regardless of this tower gets up, Joan is gonna have the sword, gonna have the upgrade in Japan's base. That tower's gonna go all the way up though. That doesn't have a lot of health on it. No one here to repair it except for Joan herself. That tower goes all the way up, immediately goes for the outpost reinforcements. Joan gonna repair it, probably gets XP for repairing, I would assume. More knights coming on the back of this. She repairs fast. Look at Joan. Give that tower its needed repairs. It's gonna be fully maxed out. All right, the Joan tower rush in team games, y'all. Look at this. One villager using Jeanne d'Arc to build the tower. And that tower is just going to sit there with a scout on the Kura storehouse, not going to be able to gather from those farms. Health upgrade coming in, and Joan just going to walk on back to that base. On the left side, Knights looking to pick some stuff off, take some damage here. A lot of early action for these players. Knights coming back in. Scouts giving each other a little hello over here. Not going to chase that. We have the archers in for England now. Longbows coming from England. We probably saw the council hall. I missed it back there. Yeah, council hall. All farms. Let's get back to the action. Longbows taking a look at the gold. Knights. Scouts. Burning at this stone, but the stone is going to be taken here mostly on this middle stone. It looks like that was originally supposed to be Striker's stone, so now they're going to have to move out onto this. Striker not taking stone himself. Curious to see what that Roos approach is. Going to be a fast castle. Look at all that food and gold coming in. Burns down the forge. Looking for some more picks. The Longbows have got the team 2 off of gold. Tower putting a lot of pressure onto these farms. This early aggression meant to cripple some of that early greed that we'd see from Roos. The early greed we'd see from Japan. Daimyo Manor going into a Daimyo Palace very quickly, using that stone for the Bannerman, I assume. Joan coming in, sort of taking a few hits from the Scout. Scout's not going to do a whole lot. She heals that up, no problem. Daimyo Palace comes through. Stone gathering it to the nub. No stone left here on the bottom. Gonna get 2 TCs. Gonna get the Daimyo Palace. More Vills coming out with that Daimyo Palace timing. Tower still has Japan off the farms. Forced to gather the sheep, gonna have to gather the berries on the front under these double farmhouses. A couple of farms out of range of the tower. Looks like Mista's gonna be able to grab those. Tons of villagers on gold going for those Castle Ages. Looks like Roos is going to drop the Castle Age landmark, high trade house on the back. A little bit of wood, gonna be quite the good bonus, quite wide amount of wood, so probably, my guess is about I want to say 40 trees here when it goes up. More pressure on the front of this base. We're just going to hang out and check out this base. Rams coming up for England. Knights coming to support this. And Joan right on the back of this. Ram coming up. What is that Ram going for? Production? Pulls it back. Going for another Ram. Knights coming around. We got Joan shouting like crazy. Villagers looking for hunts, but they scout the incoming Knights. Professional scouts for Roos, bringing that food back. Definitely looking for that fast castle. Got immediately Knights coming out to counter the enemy Knights. More stables, triple stable for Striker. Forced to fall back off this stable, but the TC gonna help out here. Knights gonna cancel out that third stable. I think Striker's going to be forced to cancel that. Cancels the stable. Japaneseville's forced to come back as well. The push on the front, Ram takes down a farm. Not going to get a whole lot of value from that since that farm was free. Tons of longbows, tons of knights. The pressure is looking a little scary here for TheMista and Striker. This is that classic France-England push that we see in 2v2s. Scouts not able to go get their hunts, gonna have to go a different direction. We do have the Uma Bannerman cavalry unit coming for Japan. We should have that stable. Yeah, obviously the stable right here. Missed that. Here comes that Uma Bannerman. Not gonna be able to do enough damage. It's Uma Bannerman and Castle Age Knights. Do we have the Castle Age upgrade? Yes, we do have the Castle Age upgrade for the Rus Knights. Going to be able to go toe-to-toe with the French Mass for now. On the back, Anglo-Saxon and Big Man John just making more units, producing those longbows, producing those knights, trying to put on pressure, trying to give Joan her XP. But the Mista and Striker are doing a really good job of preventing Joan from getting the XP she needs. Look here, she only has maybe a quarter, if not less. She could go for the hunts for the boar to get a little bit extra, but I think it's too late for that. The fights are already coming. She doesn't get any XP from the militia. The longbow is going to try to pick those off of the ram. Ram going for the Kremlin. Kremlin is going to survive this, I should think. Knights pulling back. This would be a good place for those knights to be, but they pick off Joan. No immediate buyback for Joan. Looking more toward macroing up, maybe more knights. No knight production in the stable for now. Double spear production, double barracks. Knights and longbows still just hanging out, looking to do as much damage to the Mista and Striker as they can. Striker looking good with double stable. Did he build a third on the back? Got that third stable he wanted on the back. And already getting a monastery. Gonna try to grab those relics. Looking at 12 minutes here. This game getting to that early first big push, I think. Longbows and spears putting a lot of pressure onto Rus. England historically does fairly well against the Rus, but in recent years, I think the Rus has really, recent months, the Rus have really come around. It feels like years, doesn't it? My gosh, love this game, but oh. All right, we got knights coming around on the outside. Spears coming up to the front. That tower's taking some damage from the TC at this point. Big fight here. The palings coming up for the longbow. Spear, longbow. But the knights for the Rus are going to be able to clean this up, I think. Except here comes the French knights on the back. Uma Bannerman and horsemen. Just Uma Bannerman. Straight up Uma Bannerman for the early Japanese knights. Double Castle Age now for Team 2. Team 1 looking for this feudal all-in. A couple longbows and spears left. They're going to get cleaned up by these Rus Knights right now. Easy cleanup for Striker here. Knights not going to be able to put too much damage on. Going to chase down these Uma Bannermen. Should get some good value here. These are expensive units. Powerful units. Might be able to pick off a few knights before they go down. Joan coming up for that Uma Bannerman XP. Probably quite good given the cost. She pauses, turns. Knights chasing this. Are we going to get spears and Jean trying to save the tower on the front? Nah, the knights are going to clean that up. Jean is going to pull back. Knights going to keep chasing those Uma Bannermen. Looks like things are going to die down a little bit here. We've got Castle Ages coming out for Anglo-Saxon. Most likely a Castle Age coming on the back for Big Man John. He's got to catch up, get back into the tech of this game so he can face off against the Castle Age Knights, against the Castle Age Samurai. Probably see some mounted Samurai out of the Mista now with those stables, with those Uma Bannermen. Uma Bannerman do a full circle, and you know what he says? I'm just gonna leave. Thanks. I'm glad I distracted your knights, got you away from my base. Here comes a little bit of a charge. They're gonna pick up a tiny bit of damage, but the deflection and the high armor of these Uma Bannermen basically makes that void. The Uma Bannermen just going to keep going and slip out of here. Let's take a look while they're chasing here at the bases of Big Man John and Anglo-Saxon, who are macroing up, building a lot of production, getting a ton of spears out for all those Roost Knights, for all of those Uma Bannermen. It's going to be a ton of cavalry, looking for crossbows for the heavy armor. England, different faction ever since the Council Hall updates, and the gonna go double TC on the King's Palace. On the other side, as Big John trying to come up with a Castle Age, still making knights it seems, still making spearmen. We have the Daimyo Castle, Shogunate Castle out for Japan. This is going to shoot rockets, going to keep those knights from doing too much damage. What do we have here? Roost Knights coming in for a raid, pushing Jean off the food. Striker going for some value on these knights he's made early on in the game. Big Man John's going to wall him into his base while keeping the Vills on the outside away from these knights. Nice play to keep those Vills safe. Crossbows, spears, going to clean these knights up, no doubt. Getting some value on Jean, still moving. He needs to cut this off before he can hit the wood line. Striker cutting himself off. You can't go under here. Wood always cuts all the way to the back on this map. And he gets caught by the spears. Crossbow, spears, cleaning that up. On the top side, England is going for another push into Japan. Crossbows and spears going to be really difficult for Striker's Knights here to deal with. TheMista building spears, building the Katana Bannerman now. Got those foot soldiers. Farmhouse with the Yoroshiro, so going for food overtime. Also, the Forge going to lose that Yoroshiro, so one Yoroshiro down, gotta wait for that. Stable, not producing, but with the Yoroshiro. Some relics coming in, and here comes the fight on the front. Spears battling it out, but the rockets are gonna force Anglo-Saxon to be a little more careful here. Fall back, not lose too much. The militia gonna come out to help the spears and the knights, and England is gonna have to fall back until these militia pass away here. How much more time do they have? 40 more seconds. A quick wall, trapping the English units in. The knights and the militia gonna clean this up. I love that quick wall from Striker. Keeps these units in, cleaning it up with the knights, with the militia. There goes England's army. Jean not going to be in time to fix that. And there goes that whole push from Anglo-Saxon. Nice play by the Striker with that quick wall. Love this quick wall. Now this wall is just hanging out. Anglo-Saxon walling up on the left side, keeping this gold safe, keeping the gold, deer, and relics on this side in the possession of Team 1. Meanwhile, front of the base, Uma Bannerman trying to get some value on these villagers. They pick up one, but there's just too many spears and crossbows here for the time being. Too many spears for France. And finally, Big Man John is going to come up. What landmark are we seeing here? Gonna go with the Guild Hall. That's gonna give some late game value, some mid to late game value as it picks up. Meanwhile, Jean trying to get some raids, and she picks up a villager or two. These knights are gonna cut her off. She's gonna go down again, but we do have her at level 3. She's gotten enough value from killing the knights, killing the Uma Bannerman with her units. Score looking fairly even here for the players. Jean goes down. Raid on the backside of these knights. They're going to push the villagers off woodline. Japanese spearmen, Japanese infantry coming to push that back out. Jean bought back by Big Man John. Castle Age upgrades, no doubt coming through now. He's going to push that back, scare that back. We have a full wall for green coming up, which is going to make this difficult for Big Man John to get out of here. Scout checking out the bottom side for Anglo-Saxon. Big Man John's gonna catch this wall. No, he decides to come back. He doesn't check if the villager's still building it. Good choice. Sees England coming in for the push, who's gonna do very well again against Striker. But I think these Japanese units are gonna help a lot. Too many spears though. I think this English army is very good comp. Spear, crossbow, classic Age of Empires Castle Age comp for Age of Empires 4. Pushing those knights back. Knights going for another raid, but we're gonna see, do they engage? No, gonna keep holding back. Knights pushing onto the second TC for Striker. Rus Knights pushing back those French Knights. They're gonna slip through. The quick wall doesn't quite catch them. Spears catching up, led by Jean. Jean drops. Is it the militia we're looking at? Yes, we see, sorry, the men-at-arms coming out for Jean. Men-at-arms are going to be very effective here against all these spears, against the Ona Bugeisha, who have made up this Japanese army up to now. It's a little too early, I think, for TheMista to engage here. There's a lot of units for Team 1. They can't push under this palace. There's the Rockets doing 1 kill at a time against these spearmen. He does take the engagement. Striker a little out of position for this fight to start, but already with the Imperial Age, TheMista has Ozutsu. Oh my gosh, the Ozutsu coming straight out of the gunsmith. Taganashino, a gunsmith. Ozutsu crushing these light infantry, these crossbows, these spears with their heavy attacks. Jean Spears going to clean this up, going to get a lot of value out of these knights, but still losing a lot of units, not going to be able to keep pushing in here. Idles a fair chunk of the Japanese food vills. Raid coming in on the bottom from the knights. Gets pushed back for now. The Ozutsu just clearing house here on the left side. What a powerful unit. Some people complained about the nerfs to the Ozutsu. I don't see it. I think they're still a really strong unit. I think the amount of damage they can get out when they have a front line, when they've got Bugeisha in front, spears, they can really like strike down archer units and things like that. Crossbow's fairly effective due to their heavy armor, but even here, just the fact they're Imperial against the castle units. On the bottom, Knights trying to push. This whole time, Striker and, 4 vills with the area attack on Jean on the back. Is she getting one more vill off of that? She's taking as much XP off these vills as she can, going for that level 4. Up top, a villager and a scout duking it out for this gold. I don't think this villager is gonna make it, y'all. That's 60 hits, that's a lot of hits. 6 hits left for the scout. But the Knights chasing Jean. Can they save that villager? No, 2 hits away. They take down Jean. That villager is gonna go down to the scout here on the gold mine. The scout holds the gold. Rus trying to push out with archers in the front line. Bugeisha, Ozutsu, archers fighting against this spear mass for Jean. A few knights mixed into here. Men-at-arms coming in for Anglo-Saxon. Anglo-Saxon also macroing up to that Imperial Age. Gonna be necessary here with these Ozutsu really clearing house. The Ozutsu gonna do some great area damage. Nice spread formation for the men-at-arms. Keep them alive. Gonna dive too deep. The Bugeisha. Surround on the Bugeisha. Big fight coming in. We're gonna go into the cinematic mode. Little premature here, I think, as Japan and Rus gonna clean this up. They're gonna have to fall back. England coming to help out. A fight coming here. The push from these two coming down on the south side, burning this production, fighting on the top. It looks like Japan and Rus falling back a little bit here. They don't have a lot of armor piercing aside from the Ozutsu for these men-at-arms. The Ozutsu gonna focus these buildings down, focus down that production. And England gets pushed back. They're going to lose a lot of their front production to the Ozutsu now. The only Imperial Age player, TheMista, just putting on that damage, clearing these buildings. We do have enough units for Jean and for England. England going to go up to Imperial, but he hasn't clicked up because he's busy microing over here on the front. Does he click up with Berkshire? It looks like we're probably going to have some villagers running up, trying to get that Berkshire down. Nothing yet. There's the click up. Knights and crossbows with the longbow support, pushing up, trying to clear those spears out so the knights can put damage on. But the Ozutsu mass for TheMista is just getting out of hand. We've got 17 Ozutsu now. More buildings cleared out. A raid on the top side. Let's take a look. Just Jean trying to pick up some more XP. She's very close to that level 4, but not going to be able to get it right now. Come back to the Ozutsu, pushing into Jean's base. A lot of production going down. Spears and Ozutsu just clearing everything in their path. Are we getting the wind guard for England here? Or has England decided to make units? It looks like England has decided. No, here's the Berkshire, protecting those farms from the incoming attack. All right, that's fair. Don't want to lose the vills to all these Ozutsu. The Ozutsu would clear that pretty quickly. Archers trying to focus down the Ozutsu, but longbows are not going to do a lot of damage. These guys have very high pierce armor. Raids for Jean on the top side, but we're going to stay here for the fight. It's all ranged units all the time here for Team 1. Trying to clear all these ranged units. The longbows go down, the men-at-arms go down, and they're going to have to fall back again. Anglo-Saxon now hitting that Imperial with the Berkshire. How does Team 1 respond to this Ozutsu mass? Is it too much? It's looking like too much to me as the main TC looks to be falling to the Ozutsu. There goes the landmark TC for Jean, and this push just going to be relentless now. Imperial upgrades still on hold. We have elite longbowmen. No fire arrows yet. That'll take a little while. A lot of gold, though, coming in for Anglo-Saxon. Anglo-Saxon gonna have to hold for Jean here. There's just not a lot of stuff left for Jean. Big man Jean looking to catch up, looking to get back into this game. Looks like Anglo-Saxon's gonna be able to clear some of these units. Again, very low damage against the Ozutsu, but clearing enough that TheMista feels he has to pull back here. Elite Spearmen putting pressure, but the men-at-arms, ooh, Ozutsu strike, pushing that back. I am not sure how Big John and Anglo-Saxon shall salvage this if they do. Crossbows should be fairly effective, but he just doesn't have the crossbow mass. Maybe switch into crossbows here for the Ozutsu. Longbow's good to clear the crossbow and archer mass. On the back, Jean still stealing kills on the villas, just working as a raiding unit against these villagers. Gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 villagers with that raid. Very nice. Back on the other side, this Japan force is just gonna be too much for now. With the knights cleaning up Jean. A counter raid, Ozutsu gonna destroy this castle. Watch it melt. 2 volleys from the Ozutsu clear that castle in no time. Raids from England, men-at-arms trying to get on these farms, trying to idle the food for Japan, but those rockets are too much. With the crossbows from the Rus and Jean still in Castle Age with their Imperial teammates. Fight coming on the front side of Team 1's base. Longbows, men-at-arms, Arbaletrier Archer. The archers are still sitting at their feudal upgrades. Doesn't look like we have the archer upgrades coming in just yet. Team 2 has secured some stone on the top side, kept this gold from being gathered by Anglo-Saxon. There is plenty of gold, though, for now. Up on the left side, 5,000 gold still sitting here for Anglo-Saxon. Oh my gosh, how many Ozutsu? 24 Ozutsu in this mass coming up to the left side. These villagers don't stand a chance if he doesn't react in time. Anglo-Saxon moving out of the way, gonna clear this space, gonna kind of try to be cheeky, get on the other side of the wall to keep his units alive. Mass building for Big Man John and Anglo-Saxon in the middle. Big Man John short the gold for the age up. The gold here only in the pocket of Anglo-Saxon. Where is Big Man John gonna get his gold? That's the question now for Team 1. Not looking good with this 27 Ozutsu. Crossbows. Fighting against the longbows. Tons of arbaletria. It's all gonna be longbow, crossbow, but the Ozutsu are gonna just annihilate any of these units. They not able to counter this. More Ozutsu coming out. TheMista just fully going into this very powerful ranged unit. That fast Imperial paying off here. Men-at-Arms trying to get some raids on the villagers, but I don't think it'll be enough here. Japan gonna be able to clean that up with the Samurai. Big John and Anglo-Saxon continue to get pushed back. Not enough gold. John is so close, but she's just never quite getting this this age up. Or level up. Or the age up. Not enough gold for the age up for Big Man John. The fight, the grind continues in the middle. Longbows, men-at-arms, arbaletrie, and we finally have the Castle Age Archer, but it's just, with all these Ozutsu, you start to wonder if it's going to be enough, and it just doesn't look like it as the Ozutsu clear out the men-at-arms. We're going to grab this army here for yellow. 30 Ozutsu pushing in. I think there's a certain mass of Ozutsu you just can't handle. At what point do you just say, I can't kill 30 Ozutsu? Not with the Castle Age teammate, not with men-at-arms and longbows. Clearing more buildings, the Ozutsu, clearing the front of Jean's base. All of Jean's eco is here on the bottom of the map, it would seem. Go into cinematic mode as the Ozutsu clear out these units, clear more buildings, villagers going down, men-at-arms going down. Is this unit, oh my gosh, watch this unit just tear apart the defenders. This game is not gonna last much longer. Jean has lost everything except for the eco on the back. Too many Ozutsu. The production for Anglo-Saxon gonna go down. Rams coming out for Roos, for Striker. Striker gets the Imperial Age. Imperial Age finally coming up for Big Man John. But where does he go up with this? What does he get? I think we see a Red Palace. No, College of Artillery coming out. Try and counter this, maybe Ribaldiquins for the Japanese Samurai. They have the Odachi. They're gonna shred through these infantry. Ozutsu with the Japanese Odachi Samurai. Mangonels for Roos. This game is over. Just too many Ozutsu. 34 Ozutsu on the front now. Gonna take down the TC in a matter of seconds. Gonna clear these villagers, and that's gotta be GG for Big Man John and Anglo-Saxon here. They just don't have anything left. Yeah, we have the GG for both This Ozutsu unit is insane. That fast Imperial for Japan looking quite pretty on this map. If you can hold it, see the value. Thanks all. More team games on the way. This is Sir Penguin. I hope you had a good time. Take care.